Fear came back into the market in a very big way.
What we know now is Wall Street can bring down Main Street.
People are seeing this, and those memories of fear are coming back.
When you have a 401k or a 403b, those kinds of accounts, they are incredibly susceptible to downturns.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 900 points. More than 900 points.
There are questions about how to best save for retirement.
Part of the problem is confusion.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule. And that's all the rules there are.
When the market goes up, you go up. When the market goes down, you don't go down. Save Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
Welcome to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole. Brad is a retirement and income specialist, primarily serving Springfield, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Pistole is a licensed life insurance professional in the states of Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas, and he specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies.
Save Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
And now, here to talk with you about securing your retirement, your host, Brad Pistole.
Well, hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining us again today right here on Safe Money Radio. Now, you might be listening on the radio, you might be listening to our podcast, and if you didn't know there was a podcast, simply go to YouTube or Apple or Spotify and just type in Brad Pistole and Safe Money Radio. That way you can make sure you never miss an episode. But friends, listen, I've been blessed to be on the radio for the past 15 years, and during my financial planning career, I've been involved with some of the nation's top financial and tax planning experts. And I know that you've got to listen to a lot of them as guests on this show. You've listened to and watched interviews on the podcast with people like America's IRA and tax expert Ed Slott. You've heard shows with National Social Security expert Heather Schreiber, best-selling author and American college professor Dr. Wade Pfau, who is the creator of the retirementresearcher.com, and you've seen multiple interviews with best-selling author and world-renowned economist Tom Hegna. And friends, we have an all-star lineup of guests that are going to be on this show in the near future, so always stay tuned and listen to us each and every week. Now, 2024 started off with a bang, and this isn't normal for me, but I took two big trips in the month of January right off the bat. I traveled to New York City and to Long Island in early January to be a guest on a new Fox Business show that's hosted by Tom Hegna, and the name of that show is called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now, if you want to watch this 22-minute interview, just go to YouTube and type in Brad Pistole, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you can watch the entire thing. When I landed in New York for this interview on Fox Business, my good friend Ed Slott, who lives in New York, texted me and said, "Hey, Brad, congratulations on the Wall Street Journal article. It's in the Wall Street Journal today, and I read it this morning." I immediately went to the nearest location and picked up the last copy on the stand and was able to bring that back to Ozark with me, and that was super cool. And then just 2 weeks later, in late January, I got to participate in a once-in-a-lifetime event. I went to our annual conference for Safe Money Radio that's always held in Denver, Colorado. There were about 250 different financial professionals there, and during that week, I got to listen to keynote speakers like Tom Hegna, Heather Schreiber, and Dr. Wade Pfau. I was even honored to get to introduce Dr. Wade Pfau to the group. It was his first time to ever speak at that event, and all these speakers were fantastic. But there was a special icing on the cake. Friends, our final keynote speaker at the event this year was Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning. Now, I'm sure many of you have followed Peyton Manning during his career, and you might even watch him on Monday Night Football on the special that he has with his little brother, Eli Manning. I was blessed to sit on the front row and to soak in all that he had to share with our group of financial experts. And today on this show, I want to share with you a lot of what he had to say. Now, you might be thinking, well, Brad, what in the world does Peyton Manning have to do with financial planning? Well, just know this. Peyton is worth $500 million. That's $500 million with a B. He recently sold 31 Papa John's pizza locations, and he's been a businessman for many, many years. He still has dozens of employees and is very involved in charity work and has a very, very successful business career. So as we get started today, here are some of the things about Peyton Manning that you may not know. Peyton had almost 72,000 passing yards during his career. He threw 539 touchdown passes. He had 43 different fourth-quarter comebacks, 54 game-winning drives, 200 career wins, and 14 consecutive seasons with 4,000-plus passing yards. And oh yeah, let's not forget, he was a Super Bowl MVP and two-time Super Bowl champion. But here's the first thing I want you to remember today. Even though Peyton was a number 1 draft pick, he had a really rough start to his NFL career. His first year with the Colts, he finished 3-13. He lost more games in his first year in the NFL than he did in all of high school and college combined. And that's not all. He threw more interceptions in his first year as a rookie than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. He threw 28 interceptions in that first season. And again, he lost 13 games. But here's what he had to say about that. Humble beginnings and failure can lead to an incredible future. Remember, he was 3-13 in the first season, but he worked really hard in the offseason and was determined to learn from his mistakes. And in just his second season in the NFL, he was 13-3. He went from 3-13 to 13-3. And don't forget all the other stats I shared with you just a minute ago. He went on to have a Hall of Fame career. So stay with us today because we're just getting started. I want you to hear the advice of a Hall of Fame quarterback worth $500 million and what he has to say about how you can be successful in your own financial planning. And it starts with this. Remember, he was 3-13 in his first year in the NFL, but 13-3 in his second year. And things got better and better from there. He stressed the importance of the fact that those who practice the most and those who are willing to receive instruction and learn from their mistakes will be the ones who will accomplish the most. You might be in a place in life right now where you've had a very humble beginning. Maybe you've had some pretty dramatic failures. Maybe you had a business close on you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce. Maybe you got fired from a job. Maybe you didn't start saving any money for your future retirement until you were 30 or 40 years old. No matter what that humble beginning is, no matter what failures you've experienced in life, you can get to where you want to go. I often remind my listeners, just like I did on my Fox Business special with Tom Hegna in New York City in January of 2024, that I did not personally start saving for retirement until I was 37 years old. And now I am 100% debt-free and completely financially independent. In just 15 years, everything changed for me. And you might ask, well, how does that happen? I can tell you, dedication, education, and hard work. I made the choice to listen to those who were successful. I surrounded myself with financial and tax experts who give advice to millionaires. And now I do the same thing for people all across the country. So stay with us because after the break, I want to share with you more from Hall of Fame legend Peyton Manning. And if you want to find out what we've been doing for our clients to help set them free financially, you can always call us anytime at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Just request a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. This is the information that has changed the lives of retirees all across the country. So call us anytime at 866-780-7233. And remember, there's always someone standing by to take your call. Since I have to take a break, now would be a great time to call me for a complimentary copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. And I'll also give you a copy of my Safe Money Kit. My number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Isn't it time to stop exposing your retirement to market risk? You're listening to Safe Money Radio with Brad Pistole.
Have you recently changed jobs and now you have a 401k or another retirement account you don't want to expose to the risk of market loss? You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Since you'll probably start another retirement account at your new job, why not ensure your old account provides you principal protection, the opportunity to participate in the market with locked-in accumulation, and a guaranteed lifetime income? We can help you roll over the retirement account from your previous employer and identify products that provide the potential of index-linked credited interest while limiting market risk. Did you know that if you're age 59 and a half, you may be able to use money out of your employer's plan even if you're still working there? Call us now and ask about bonus options on your retirement money with a fixed indexed annuity. Imagine putting your money on an elevator that only goes up. It might stop on a few floors on the way up when the market index goes down, but you won't go back to visit the lower floors. Our phone number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. You can get your complimentary copy of Brad's best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, by calling us now. That number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. You're listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Welcome back to Safe Money Radio. I'm Brad Pistole, a certified financial fiduciary and a safe money retirement specialist. Friends, if you've just now tuned in to the radio show and you've missed the first part of the show, listen, you can always go to YouTube and listen to the podcast. You can rewind anything that you missed, because today we're talking about a conference that I attended in Denver, Colorado in January of 2024 with Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning. He was the closing keynote speaker, and it was unforgettable. So in the first part of the show, we were talking about Peyton's NFL career and how it began, and it wasn't pretty. He only won 3 games in his first season. He lost 13 games, which is more than he had lost in high school and college combined. He talked a lot about the importance of failure and humble beginnings and practice and sticking to a game plan. And in his second season in the NFL, he turned a 3-13 season into a 13-3 season. That's a pretty amazing turnaround. But it was something that he shared later in that speech that really caught my attention, and I wanted to share this with all of you today. You see, one of my good friends who was part of the Safe Money Radio team was the person who got to interview Peyton in front of the group of 250 advisors. He has a son that's the same age as Peyton's son, and they're in the same football league. And he said, "Hey, Peyton, I know that you coach your son's team, so tell us a little bit about that." And I will never forget what Peyton Manning said. He said, "Oh, I'm not the head coach. I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm not qualified to be the head coach. I try to just stay in my lane." When Peyton said this, the crowd erupted in laughter. But here's the thing. He said, "Hey, I'm dead serious." He said, "My entire career was about offense. I was a great quarterback. I know offense inside and out. I studied offense more than anyone else and was always prepared for the next game. But I'm not qualified to be a head coach. I'm the offensive coordinator, and I try to just stay in my lane." Now, can you imagine what it would be like to be the head coach of a team where Peyton Manning is the offensive coordinator? It would be hard to be the head coach, wouldn't it? Here's the thing. He understands what his gifts and his talents are, and that's really powerful. Peyton went on to say this, "Don't forget what got you to where you are today. Little things matter. Pressure is something that you only feel when you don't know what you're doing." Now, I want you to think about that today in context of all the financial planning we talk about on the show. Pressure is something that you only feel when you don't know what you're doing. So he stressed the importance of not trying to fake it and not trying to be something that you're not good at. You know the old saying, jack of all trades and master of none. Have you ever tried to meet with someone who claims to be an expert in everything? Oh, yeah, I can help you with your Social Security and your Medicare and your health insurance and your financial planning and your stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and annuities and life insurance. I do everything. Listen closely, friends. There are a lot of people that are licensed to sell all kinds of things, but I can tell you this. If they're doing your Medicare and your Social Security planning and helping you with your brokerage accounts, and they're trying to sell you annuities and life insurance and set up your estate plan, then they are a jack of all trades and a master of none. I've been hosting Safe Money Radio for 15 years, and I personally have more than 1,500 clients. I'm licensed in 15 different states, but I don't focus on every single area of financial planning. I have an entire team who focuses on all the different aspects of financial planning. We have multiple advisors on staff. We have people who focus solely on Medicare. We have people who are experts with Social Security planning. We have people who work with stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. We have people who specialize on taxes. And I specialize in retirement income and tax planning. Remember what Peyton said. He's not qualified to be the head coach of his son's football team. Just think about that. One of the greatest football players of all time, a 2-time Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP, says he's not qualified to be the head coach of his son's football team. But he is qualified to be the offensive coordinator, and he tries to just stay in his lane. Friends, know what got you to where you are today. Remember that little things matter. And remember, pressure is something you feel when you are not prepared for what you're doing. Be really, really good at something and then do that to all of your might. Peyton said the best players on all of his teams were the ones who practiced the hardest. I can assure you this about our team here at Trinity Insurance and Financial Services and Safe Money Radio. We are retirement income certified professionals through the American College. I'm also a certified financial fiduciary and a certified annuity specialist. There are a lot of people who try to sell annuities today. There are a lot of people who claim to be experts in retirement income planning. But I can tell you this, the math doesn't lie. 99% of them are not retirement income certified professionals, and less than 1% of the people who sell annuities are certified annuity specialists through the Institute of Business and Finance. I know what I'm doing, and I'm really, really good at it. That's why people from all across the country come to me for my expertise. Friends, if you want a specialist helping you with your retirement income plan, you're listening to the right show. Just give us a call anytime at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Just call anytime. I'll give you a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, and I will give you a free financial consultation. I'll look at your current financial plan and let you know whether or not you're headed in the right direction. If you are, then great. We'll tell you to keep doing what you're currently doing. But if you're not, we will help you make the changes that you need to make to ensure that your money will be safe and protected and that it will last the rest of your life. So just call us anytime at 866-780-7233. And we'll be back in just a minute to talk more about Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning. Call us anytime. There's always someone standing by to take your call. This is Brad Pistole, your host of Safe Money Radio. I'll be right back after this informative message.
Do you own an annuity? Do you understand what it does, how it works, and if it's right for your retirement plan? Some annuities have fees that might not be justified by their benefits. Some annuities are exposed to significant market risk. Worse yet, if an annuity was sold without proper planning, it can cause unintended consequences for your retirement. If you own an annuity, it's probably a good idea to find out more about how it works and if it's right for you. It's time to give Brad Pistole a call now at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Brad will help you review the features and benefits of annuities you currently own without any obligation. Once again, you can call Brad now at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866 780-7233. Now back to more Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistol.
Welcome back. I'm Brad Pistol, your host of Safe Money Radio. I am a capital preservation and strategic income planning specialist working with clients right here in Springfield and Ozark, Missouri. Friends, on today's show, we've been talking about Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning. Now, to remind you of just how incredible he was as an athlete and how accomplished he was in the NFL during his career, consider these facts. He had almost 72,000 passing yards in his career. He had 539 touchdown passes, 43 fourth-quarter comebacks, 54 game-winning drives, and 200 career wins. And this is the part that's mind-blowing to me. He had 14 consecutive seasons with 4,000-plus passing yards. He was a Super Bowl MVP and a two-time Super Bowl champion. And in January of 2024, he was the speaker at a very special conference I attended, and I was blessed to meet him and listen to what he had to say about the secrets to financial success. Now, friends, I've said many times that I didn't even start saving for my future until I was 36 years old. And now I am completely debt-free and financially independent. The Lord has blessed me tremendously, but here's the thing. It didn't start off that way. I started my business during the financial crisis of 2008, and one of the things that I realized that was critically important to the future of my success was the need to surround myself with people who were financially successful. My mentors say, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." They also say, "You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with." This is exactly why I protect my time and I make wise choices about who I spend my time with. Now, friends, I want you to listen closely to one of the last things Peyton said to this elite group of financial planning experts. He said, "Besides my parents, my coaches have impacted my life more than anyone else." And then he looked at us and he said, "Who are your coaches? Who are your mentors? No matter what level of success you reach, you need a coach and a mentor." Now, when he said this, it reminded me of my recent interview with Tom Hegna for Fox Business. This was on his new show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And if you want to watch this interview, just go to YouTube and type in Brad Pistol, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. During that interview, world-renowned economist Tom Hegna asked me, what advice would I give to young people who are just now starting their journey to financial freedom? I talked to him about the importance of surrounding themselves with experts who are very skilled and very successful with financial planning. Peyton Manning said that besides his parents, his coaches had impacted his life more than anyone else. And he said, I'll give you an example. Tony Dungy was one of my coaches. He was a phenomenal coach, but he was an even better human being. That's why I spent my time with him. If you do any research, you'll learn that the most successful people in any field have coaches. The best shooters in basketball have shooting coaches. The best quarterbacks have quarterback coaches. The best financial experts have a team of financial experts who help them do what they do. You see, friends, I didn't establish my own financial plan. You've heard me say I own 7 annuities. I own 8 life insurance policies. I own stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. But I had a team of experts help me with this. I've been blessed to be a $1 Million Roundtable, top-of-the-table advisor for more than a decade. Less than 1% of all financial experts are MDRT top-of-the-table members, and I'm a lifetime qualifier. This did not happen by accident. It happened because I surrounded myself with great people who were experts in tax planning and retirement income planning. So as we close today, I want to share something with you that Peyton Manning shared with us as he was closing his talk. He said, there was one person who terrified me out on the football field. You could look across the line at the defense and you would see an undeniable look in his eyes. It was Hall of Fame Baltimore Raven Ray Lewis. Peyton said one day he came through the line so fast and tackled him that he didn't even know what had happened. And then he said Ray Lewis did a push-up on him to get up off of him. He then said, he said something to me after this that I would never forget. As he was doing a push-up off of me to get up, he whispered through my helmet, "I'll be back in a couple of minutes, punk." Then he said this. Here's the thing about Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was the hardest working, hardest practicing person there was. He knew who he was, he knew what he was good at, and he stuck to that. What was world champion Ray Lewis good at? Defense. He was a master at intimidating his opponents and sacking quarterbacks. Friends, I don't know where you are in your journey of life right now. You may feel like you're way behind the 8 ball. Maybe you haven't saved the way you need to save. Maybe you've had some really bad experiences with other financial planners that it's caused you not to trust someone to help you with your financial planning. That's exactly why we're here. I've been on the radio for 15 years. My show and my podcast, Safe Money Radio, is listened to by people all across the country, and this includes financial professionals and college professors. They come to me for advice because they realize the power of having a team of experts in place to help accomplish your dreams. If we can help you in any way, just call us anytime. My number is 866-780-7233. That's 866-780-SAFE. Just request a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, and ask for a copy of our Safe Money Kit. I will give them to you absolutely free, and I'll also give you a free financial consultation. We're here to coach you and to help get you moving in the right direction to make sure your money stays safe and to make sure you never run out of income in retirement. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. Well, I must take a short break. This is Brad Pistole, and you're listening to Safe Money Radio. Let's pause for some exciting announcements.
Did you know that your Social Security could be much higher depending on what option you choose for claiming your benefit? Social Security income is not as simple as some think. When should you take it? Should you only take your spouse's benefit while you continue to work? Deciding how to receive your Social Security benefit can make your head spin. Don't decide about your retirement without the facts. Call us now and ask for your complimentary Social Security guide at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. You're listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Welcome back to Safe Money Radio. I'm Brad Pistole, a certified financial fiduciary and a safe money retirement specialist. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again on Safe Money Radio. And you might be listening right now, but you also might be watching us on YouTube. You might be listening to our podcast. A lot of our shows that you hear on the radio, you can also watch online. You can go anytime to Apple Podcast, to YouTube, or to Spotify, and you can just type in Brad Pistole and Safe Money Radio. So depending on whether or not you like to listen or if you like to watch, if you want to be able to rewind and go back to certain key things that we are talking about on the show, then just find out what works for you best and then go do that. You can always find us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's Safe Money Radio with Brad Pistole. And as you know, we are the longest running financial planning show in the Ozarks. We've been on a lot longer than anyone else, almost 15 years now. And we've had key guests on our show in recent years, even in recent months. People like America's IRA expert, Ed Slott. People like world-renowned economist Tom Hegna. World-renowned Social Security expert Heather Schreiber. We've had Dr. Wade Pfau, Dr. Michael Finca, Dr. Alex Margia. So if you want the source for key retirement planning information by the world's experts, you found the right place. And today we're going to be talking about something that you do not want to miss. So stay with us. And remember, you can always call anytime, 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. If you want a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, or if you want a copy of Ed Slott's book, The New Retirement Savings Time Bomb, we have autographed copies, so just call in anytime. But with that being said, let's jump into today's show because we're going to be talking about the joint owner on your retirement accounts. And that was not a mistake. You heard me correctly. The joint owner. Here's the thing. America's IRA expert came to Springfield, Missouri for the first time ever. He speaks all over the world. He speaks at Fortune 500 companies, and he was right here in Springfield. We brought in Ed Slott to speak on September the 12th, 2023. We had a sold-out crowd at the White River Convention Center. More than 100 people attended. We had 50 people on a waiting list, and we provided this event absolutely free of charge to everyone in the Springfield community. And here's the thing that Ed said that shocked a lot of people. You know, they came up to him after the event was over and he was signing books and autographs and talking to people about their retirement accounts. And everyone kept saying, you know, you totally got my attention when you asked the question about who the joint owner was on my retirement account. Have you ever thought about that? You know, see, normally when I'm talking to someone or if Ed's talking to someone, he'll say, hey, let me ask you this. How much of your account do you own? The common answer is, of course, well, I own all of it. No, let me rephrase that. How much of your 401k is yours? Well, all of it, right? No, it's not, actually. You have a joint owner on that retirement account. If it is a 401k, a 403b, a TSP, a 457 plan, an IRA, or any other type of tax-deferred account, you have a joint owner on that account. And I can guarantee you, you're not going to like all the details that come with that joint ownership. Who is the joint owner? Well, the joint owner is Uncle Sam. And as Ed Slott will say, guess what? He's not even your real uncle, but he does own some of your retirement accounts. And here's the thing. He gets to dictate how much of your account he owns. That might be 12%, 22%, 24%, 32%, 37%. And let's go back and look into history. That's right. The all-time highest federal tax bracket, 94%. If you don't believe me, just go look up those stats and look up the year my father was born, 1944. Look for the highest federal tax bracket, okay? Here's the thing. You put your money into a tax-deferred account, and remember, you took a tax deduction up front, and you deferred that tax for the future. And who determines the rate of tax? Your joint owner, Uncle Sam. And don't forget, you also owe money to your state, unless you're in one of the very few rare states that don't have any state income tax. So most of us, when we started off in our careers, we were told about this wonderful thing called a 401k. You need to put your money into the 401k. You're going to get free money. Remember this great match they're going to give us. And back in the glory days, it might have been as high as 7 or 8%. And then it fell back to 5, and then it fell back to 3. And now with a lot of companies, there is no match. Truly, it's a yo-yo economy. You're on your own. If you don't save it, you won't have it. But even when you have that match, remember, you are post-dating that tax. You're saying, I'll deal with Uncle Sam on down the road. And Uncle Sam, your joint owner in these accounts, has all kinds of rules for you. No distributions before 59 and a half without a 10% penalty. It's also taxable. Remember, there's going to be rules that start for you when what used to be age 70 and a half, and then it changed to 72, and then it changed to 73. We already know that it's going to change to age 75 in about 9 years. Those are called required minimum distributions. Yes, they are required even if you don't need the money. And your joint owner, Uncle Sam, is going to tell you how much you have to take and when you have to take. And he's also got all kinds of special rules for your spouse and for your non-spouse beneficiaries, your children and your grandchildren. You know, I personally believe this is where the term roll over in your grave comes from. It's for those of you who work your entire life and build this nest egg that you think belongs to you, and then you find out after you're long gone that because of improper distributions, you were working with the wrong advisor, they didn't know, your wife didn't know, your kids didn't know how to take the money back out the right way, and you gave the majority of your retirement money to Uncle Sam in taxes, federal and state. Many times, Uncle Sam will get more than 50% of all of the money that you saved your entire life that you thought was going to go to your wife, your children, your charities, your church, but the right planning did not take place. That's what we specialize in here at Safe Money Radio. Both myself and my son Hunter are RICPs, Retirement Income Certified Professionals through the American College of Financial Services, and you've seen the long list of key guests that we have on the show, talking to you not just about how to get the money into your accounts to make good earnings on the money, but more importantly, how to get the money back out of those accounts in the most tax-efficient way. If you would like to read a copy of a book that is really about financial planning and guaranteed lifetime income, and the key thing about how to take it out in the most tax-efficient way, just call us anytime. It's 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. I'll give you a copy of Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, absolutely free. And remember, America's IRA expert Ed Slott wrote the foreword for this book. Call us anytime at 866-780-7233. There's always someone standing by to take your call. Since I have to take a break, now would be a great time to call me for a complimentary copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. And I'll also give you a copy of my Safe Money Kit. My number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Isn't it time to stop exposing your retirement to market risk? You're listening to Safe Money Radio with Brad Pistole.
The market goes up and the market goes down. It always has and it always will. But if you are in or near retirement, do you have the time to wait for the market to go through these cycles? Think about it. Having your money invested in the market is like walking next to the edge of a cliff. What if you lose your step? What if the edge gives way? What if a strong wind blows you over the side? It is good to stay away from the edge of disaster in life, and when it comes to being exposed to financial risk, it is no different. Shouldn't you at least try to protect the money you depend on for your retirement income? Pick up the phone and call us now to receive your complimentary Safe Money Information Kit and a copy of Brad's best-selling book, Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. Our phone number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. You're listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Thank you for tuning in to Safe Money Radio. I am Brad Pistole, a market risk mitigation specialist helping clients with retirement money preservation and income planning. Now, friends, if you're just now joining us on the show today, we have been talking about the joint owner on your retirement accounts. And I know if you just joined us, you might be thinking, well, wait a second, I don't have a joint owner. I have an IRA. And what does the I in IRA stand for? Individual. Now, if you really want to shake up your advisor and see whether or not he's worth the salt, ask him what IRA stands for. He will tell you individual retirement account, but that is not true. An IRA is not an individual retirement account. If you don't believe me, pause the show right now if you're watching and just go to irs.gov and type in IRA. You will find out that it stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement, not individual retirement account. And what is this arrangement? This individual retirement arrangement is what we're talking about on today's show. You see, you have an arrangement with Uncle Sam. He's the joint owner. When you reached out and shook his hand, he slapped cuffs on you, and you are now cuffed to Uncle Sam for the rest of your life, unless you find the special key to unlock those handcuffs. And I can show you exactly how to do that, how to get rid of Uncle Sam for the rest of your life and take him off as a joint owner and a primary beneficiary on your account. But let me do this today. I love to share stories. You know, I've been on the radio for 14 years. A lot of you watch and listen to my podcast. Let me share a story about how this fleshes out in real life, because none of us like having Uncle Sam as a joint owner. You probably have something that means a lot to you. I own 3 farms. I talk about it a lot. So I own a farm in Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa. Now, why do I own these farms? Well, I live at work. You see, Monday to Friday, I'm here. This week, I was here 3 nights past 7 o'clock. I have 1,300 clients. I've written and structured more than 2,000 annuities and life insurance policies. That's a lot of customer service. That's a lot of people to take care of. But let's not forget, I'm also on the radio 5 times a week. I have podcasts. I have YouTubes, all that are going on all across the country. I have clients all across the country. And here's the thing that separates me from everyone else. I write every single one of my shows, every word. That takes a lot of time. I am never away from my job. Even if I'm driving to a farm, I'm recording a radio show through an app somewhere. So here's the thing. I purchased my first farm in 2014. And here's what I learned about how unique our world is right now. I did not purchase any of my farms in my own name. For tax purposes and for protection purposes, I purchased them in the name of an LLC. And within 1 week of the date that I purchased my first farm, I had someone call me at the office and wanted to talk to me. And our staff is pretty good about making sure, someone that's calling, I've got the right time to talk to someone. And here's what happened. I get on the phone, I don't know the person, and they said, "Hey, Brad, I'm your new neighbor at XYZ Farm, and I just wanted to ask you some questions." And I'm first floored by this. First of all, I haven't told anyone about this farm that I just purchased. I didn't even purchase it in my own name. And then they proceed to ask me all kinds of questions. Well, why do you own this farm? Well, what are you going to do with it? Just all kinds of personal questions. And here's what I realized. This person had to have gone to the courthouse. They would have had to have looked up the information about who purchased the farm. They would have found that it was owned by an LLC. They would have had to have researched that LLC to find the name connected to it. Then they would have had to Google my name. Then they would have found that I own a business. Then they literally had the nerve to call my business during a workday to interject them into my life to ask me about my personal business. Let me tell you what, we live in a very unique world. Now, I wish we could go back to the days of front porches and talking to neighbors and everyone loves everybody, but we don't live in that world now. We live in a totally different world. So when someone calls you out of the clear blue and starts asking you questions about something that should be completely private, it kind of freaks you out a little bit. And that neighbor then went on to be very specific about the fact that the previous owner had let them hunt and fish on the property, had let them ride their horses on the property. And they wanted to know what I was going to let them do and not do because a new sheriff was in town and they wanted me to know that they were kind of the old sheriff, even though it wasn't their land. That really bothered me, and I've had to deal with several things like that, but that is exactly what's going on with your retirement accounts. You don't realize it, but you've got a neighbor that's right there that might even come let himself inside your gate, which has happened, and drive themselves right up to the doorstep of your house and say, "Hey, what are you doing with that money? What do you?" And you're going to say, "Well, what do you mean? What am I doing with it? That's none of your business." And you know what Uncle Sam's going to say? He's going to say it absolutely is my business. If you want to find out how to get rid of Uncle Sam, if you want to find out how to protect your money and keep it safe, if you want to find out how to develop streams of guaranteed lifetime income, then you need to give us a call. Remember, I've been working with America's IRA expert, Ed Slott, since 2010. He wrote the foreword for my latest book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. Both myself and my son Hunter are retirement income certified professionals through the American College of Financial Services. We will sit down with you, find out what you've got going on, and we will come up with the best retirement income plan for you and your family. And we will be focused not on how to get the money into an account, but how to get the money back out of the account in the most tax-efficient way. Call us anytime at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Just ask for a free copy of the book. Ask for a copy of our Safe Money Kit. We will mail it to you absolutely free. And you can even set up a free financial consultation when you call. We do not charge fees to meet with you, and we will be more than happy to help you any way that we can. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. This is Brad Pistole, your host of Safe Money Radio. I'll be right back after this informative message.
When was the last time you did a beneficiary review on your life insurance and annuity policies? Did you know that many non-qualified joint annuities have incorrect beneficiary designations that completely bypass the joint annuitant from receiving death benefits? Another major mistake made on beneficiary designations can cause your death benefit to be subject to estate taxes or probate. This is something you cannot fix once you die, which is why you should call us now for a complimentary review of all life and annuity beneficiary designations. Your loved ones depend on this money. Let's make sure your money goes where it's intended. Our phone number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. You're listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistol.
Welcome back. I'm Brad Pistol, your host of Safe Money Radio. I am a capital preservation and strategic income planning specialist working with clients right here in Springfield and Ozark, Missouri. Now, friends, before the break, we were talking about Uncle Sam being a joint owner on your retirement account. And I know you probably don't like that thought. And if you don't believe it's true, just go to any tax-deferred account you have right now and take a distribution. You'll find out. You're going to get 1099 on that distribution, and guess where that money's going to go? To the feds and to the state. Try to take a distribution before age 59 and a half. You'll find out how many different rules and regulations and how much control Uncle Sam has over you and your retirement accounts. You know, there's all kinds of horror stories that come from tax-deferred accounts that get passed on to people when the beneficiaries do not know how to touch the money and the financial professional does not know how to touch the money. So I want to focus on that in this last part of our segment today, because here's what America's IRA expert will say. He will say, take a guess at how many financial professionals know all the rules and the laws that come with tax-deferred accounts. He will say 99%. It's not that high. He said it's higher than that. It's not even 1% that know. Less than 1% know. So here's the thing to think about. How do you find these people? Well, you can find these people by going to IRAhelp.com. That's Ed Slott's personal website page. And you can look for Find an Advisor. I've been listed on that page for the last 14 years, starting my 15th year in 2024. This is highly trained individuals, about 450 of us, who constantly study the laws regarding 401ks, IRAs, and any type of tax-deferred account. And we specialize not in just getting the money into the retirement accounts, but how to get the money back out in the most tax-efficient way. So I'd like to share a story with you from what happened just 2 days ago, okay? Because of YouTube, because of how much I've spoken all across the country, I'm licensed in about 10 different states, but I speak to people all across the country. And I had someone call from Tennessee. This person is retired. They have done very, very well for themselves. Thankfully, they had found me through watching an interview with Ed Slott on YouTube. And they said, hey, I'm a huge Ed Slott fan. I saw how many different videos you've done with him. I saw that he recently came to your office and did a podcast with you and spoke at an event you had. And I respect Ed. And because of Ed Slott, I have converted almost $1 million of my tax-deferred money over to a Roth IRA. And I was like, wow, that very rarely happens. Do you meet someone that actually takes the medicine they're told to take? They rip the Band-Aid off, they pay the tax up front, they get rid of Uncle Sam as a partner, and they truly get to experience freedom because they are the true owner of their retirement account. And he said, I'll tell you, I don't work with any financial professional. I don't want to pay their fees. I do all my own trading. But I really do want your advice regarding some things because I know you work with Ed. And so he shared that his main concern was that he still had some tax-deferred money, and he didn't know how to do a conversion because of the type of accounts he had. And we started talking about it. And as he shared everything, I said, you know, I appreciate everything you said. I just need to ask you 2 or 3 questions to make sure everything is set up for you in the right way. And he said, absolutely, I would love for you to do that. I said, hey, you've done a great job of setting up tax-free accounts by converting to Roths. But here's my first question. You mentioned you had pension income, and you have Social Security income, and you even have one annuity, and that annuity is tax-deferred, so that's taxable income. What about this pension? Tell me, when you pass away, does your wife get any of it? And he paused for a second and said, no, we took the higher payment amount. So when I die, she's not going to get any of that passed on to her. I said, okay. And you said that she is currently taking her Social Security. How much is that? He said, that's about $1,000 a month. And his pension was $2,000 a month. I said, okay, well, right off the bat, we see that we've got a problem. First off, it's great that you've got all this income. Pensions are rare. You've got great pension income. You've got Social Security, her Social Security, annuity income, but you're going to lose that pension when you die, and you're going to lose her Social Security when you die because you'll lose the lower and step into the higher, and his Social Security is higher. This is a real problem that many of you are going to face. So I said, here's the thing. You've done a great job, but you can't be in a live for today moment when it comes to retirement planning. You have to look down the road, and that's why we focus on how to get the money back out of the accounts. I said, if you take away your $2,000 pension and your $1,000 Social Security payment, would it change her lifestyle if she had $36,000 a year less income? And he said, well, yeah, then we would have a problem. And I said, now I've got one other question to ask you. Do you have traditional long-term care? And he said, no, we don't. I've never liked the thought of making premium payments into something that we might not ever use. And I said, I understand that. But here's the thing. This is a rule of thumb that you pretty much have to live by. For the most part in this country, men are older and they die first. I say that to everyone. Men are older and they die first, and the average spouse lives 14.2 years after the death of the first spouse. So what happens if a worst case scenario happens? Worst case scenario is 1 second after we get off this phone call, you drop dead. That's the worst scenario, right? That means your $2,000 a month pension stops now. Her Social Security stops now. You are $36,000 a year in the hole. We need to look at some things to do with some other assets that you thankfully have converted to tax-free money, and let's set those aside, and here's some beautiful things you can do with those assets that he had no idea about. He didn't know there were certain types of annuities that you could defer, protect the income, let it roll up for the need of future income when he loses a pension and Social Security, that have what's called impairment doublers on them. That if you start the income and someone ends up in qualified nursing care, or they can't perform 2 out of 6 ADLs, activities of daily living, it doubles the payment for you while you're in that facility or having that health care taking place. Blew his mind. And we were able to solve all kinds of problems just by asking the right questions. He then, after the phone call, took something that Hunter and I give to every one of our clients. It's called the RISA, the Retirement Income Style Awareness Questionnaire, that was created by Dr. Alex Margia and Dr. Wade Pfau. Okay, we would love to send you a free copy of the Retirement Income Style Awareness Questionnaire. We would love to give you a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. All you have to do is give us a call, 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. We want to make sure you understand you have a joint owner on your retirement accounts. And that joint owner is greedy and nosy, and he has got all kinds of rules that he's going to make you and your spouse and your non-spouse beneficiaries deal with. Hey, those rules don't end when you die. He passes those rules on to the spouse, and he passes even more stringent rules on to your non-spouse beneficiaries, your children and your grandchildren. So friends, if you have tax-deferred accounts, 401ks, IRAs, TSPs, 403bs, 457 plans, you need a retirement income certified professional working with you to make sure you keep that money out of Uncle Sam's hands. Greedy little hands. And remember, he's not even your real uncle. Call us at 866-780-7233. Ask for a free financial consultation. We will get you headed in the direction of safety and guaranteed lifetime income. 866-780-SAFE, and there is always someone standing by to take your call. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money Radio. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulation while reducing exposure to market losses. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Brad Pistole, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
You've been listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe while avoiding market loss so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call Brad Pistole now for your complimentary Safe Money book and Safe Money information kit at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.